have a series of questions. And the first one is this. It sounds good. Like, I'm not going to deny, but I have noticed, and this has been the case. If you read like intellectual history and stuff, there were enough people who were opining whether fascism or communism was the solution back in the early 20th century because they were frustrated by existing needs. Fact of the matter is, there are ideas that can sound great in insulation, in intellectual bubbles that probably do not apply to society as a whole. And given the imminent threat of Pakistan on one side, China on one side, who are militarizing with excesses, who are, where capitalism is fueling their excesses, how do we compete in an international political scenario with a Dharmic, responsibility-driven model?
Okay, so here's the answer to that question. One, factually, let us get a few things right. Communism, or its earlier avatar, Christianity, and all of these institutions, according to me, were invented subsequently. Okay, they existed much later. But if you look at the civilizational span of the Bharatiya thought, that has always existed for millennia together. So I am not asking for the invention of a certain concept or something which is in theory. I am saying this has existed. What has been problematic are its inability to defend its civilization from the barbarian. Okay, that is the issue that you have not addressed so far, because once you address that issue, there are enough building blocks from your past, because that is the tried and tested model. Otherwise, if we were so bad and we sucked at effectively creating a society which is prosperous, तो ये लोग भारत आते ही क्यों? अरे भाई हम पे मेहरबानी करने थोड़ी आ रहे थे. Okay. So if they came to India, there was an incentive, and that incentive was created by the existing social structure. The existing social structure was effectively responsible for its economic prosperity and for its social stability, with lot of mistakes and with a lot of flaws. I'm not saying it was perfect, because had it been perfect, it wouldn't have reached where it has. Okay, but this is effectively the phase of introspection. Now, coming to the second issue, I'm not therefore saying alienate China or alienate Pakistan, alienate United States, alienate Russia. No. Your only goal at this stage is protection of this landmass and national interest. Okay? Because that is the home of the Dharmic civilization. Be very clear about that. 3, as long as the identity of Dharma and Indic faiths exist in this country shall continue to exist in the form that it exists today. Otherwise, it will go down the path of a Nepal, it will go down the path of a Sri Lanka, or it will go down the path of Pakistan, Bangladesh, or any other Abrahamized country. Okay? Therefore, the first security which India must have is identity-based security with respect to indigenous identities, which is what will give it the confidence to deal with other people, because then you know आप किसकी रक्षा कर रहे हैं, किस बीज की रक्षा कर रहे हैं. At the end of the day, what drives a certain vision is clarity as to what is the object of protection. आप किस चीज को protect करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. Let us be clear about that. Okay, which is why Ashish made a brilliant point in one of his videos that धरती की रक्षा किस लिए जरूरी है, क्योंकि ये संस्कृति की रक्षा है, क्योंकि धरती जो है संस्कृति का घर होता है. That's the basic point. A geography is effectively the residence of a certain mindset, a certain civilization. That is why it needs to be protected. Okay. So once you have that clarity, automatically it will clarify in your headspace. If this is the goal, how do I achieve this goal on the geostrategic front, on the foreign policy front, on the economics front, on the culture front, on the soft power front, and every other front. Okay. So this is the clarity that China managed to achieve after its stupid flirtatious behavior with communism. The moment they realized, यार ये तो बेकार है, it has effectively helped me consolidate my position, but इसके ऊपर इससे कुछ होगा नहीं. Okay, so communism effectively helped the Chinese consolidate their position to basically say, now I have control over this landmass. And after that, they started setting up Confucius institutes and every other institute. Not under, of course, Chairman Mao, but at least under Deng Xiaoping, they started doing it because he decided whatever had to be done has been done. Apna satta abhi yahan pe established ho chuka hai. Now is the time for advancing the Chinese vision. Now imagine, Chinese version of communism believes in advancing Chinese civilizational worldview. Okay, look at how it works. So communism has effectively been rendered subservient to Chinese civilizational interests. Yahan pe Bharat mein ulta hi case hai. Okay, so therefore, here's a clear response. Notwithstanding what China is doing, and I think that country needs to get a solid response from Bharat, and it needs to be taught a lessons. But the fact also remains that China has greater civilizational clarity than Bharat has today. That is a fact.
That's a fact.
Okay? And we are not in a position to respond to them because an insecure product of, let's say, how do I put it? a lot of corruption. Like Pakistan also has greater civilizational clarity, notwithstanding the fact that his civilizational clarity is based on a myth. Okay, he is effectively the product of conversion by rapist invaders. Okay, he knows for a fact that is his history, but he doesn't want to admit it. He revels in that particular history, but he believes that this is my identity. चाहे कुछ भी हो, उसपे तो उतना तो clarity है. The other guy is effectively said, my civilization is the product of Confucius. My civilization is the product of the King dynasty. My civilization is the product of the Middle Kingdom narrative. He is clear about that. भारत ना यहाँ है ना वहाँ है. क्या है ये आप सोच लीजिए.